the topic for today's discussion is health implication of Lassa fever.
Lassa fever is one of the infectious diseases that are currently of global significance, and in our environment in Nigeria and actually in the whole of West Africa, from places like Sierra Leone, Guinea, the problem is they don't have cures. They don't have, so it's really difficult to treat something. So we can just support the body through and hope the person makes it for the most part. Lassa fever does have ribavirin, and but it's rare, expensive and stuff. And then monkeypox has some other, medications too. So it's just easier to prevent them, really. And
we don't have it much in Nigeria, just for us to just discuss it.
There are no vaccines that can prevent it. That's the issue.
Ensure your food is properly covered.
Yes, don't leave them in nylons. Put them in plastics that have good covers that can really lock. Things like that will make it difficult for any organism really to get into your food. Yeah, and don't eat meat that you're not sure of the source.
Welcome back. We're still discussing the implication of Lassa fever. And my last question to you before we hand over to the audience is, from this end, Lassa fever, is it curable and how?
Curable. Well, so here's the thing. Well, it's so much easier.
It may not be curable, but it could be preventable.
So it's preventable. Yeah. If you do have people that are sick in your environment, try not to self-medicate. Go to the hospital and get somebody to take a look at you. In addition to that, keep your food safe and all that, because the medications to treat some of these things are really difficult to come by. Right. You have to go to maybe Irua.
Can you imagine?
And that's like in Edo State, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, it's in Edo State.
Yes, to go to the hospital.
The general hospital.
Either that or you're going to infectious disease hospital looking for a virologist. It's just better to not get these infections, because ribavirin, I don't even know where to find it. If you can find it easily. So there's a medication to treat Lassa fever, yes, but it works best when the infection is detected early. So in that phase where it's not even very serious, so it typically serves best when it's contact tracing. Maybe one person is already diagnosed by Lassa or PCR, and then you can start saying, okay, who have you been in contact with recently? And those people are still. Can the person diagnosed
be isolated? Like we isolated some during COVID?
Yes. So
since you say it's contagious.
Yes. So you can actually be, kept separate from other people and treated in a room separate from other people. So it's easier. And then the people that come to treat you, the medical professionals, will have to be in their personal protective equipment. So they would have to put on all of that gear.
So this something we have discussed is not a joke.
It's not a joke.
And when Kevin came, everybody, but even this Lassa fever is also
not a joke.
dangerous.
So while they might not have the mastomys rodents in America or something, the world is a global village. If countries and communities need to stop acting as if when something affects or starts here, it belongs to only here. This COVID did not start in Africa.
Of course.
Fortunately, we didn't have very, very bad death rates, even though, every life lost is a life. It's somebody's family member and everything.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's just better.
Because that interaction is there now, movement from one corner to the other.
It's not just an African thing anymore. It's not just a Lassa town thing. It's not just a Guinea thing or a Sierra Leone thing or a Nigerian thing. Because we all travel. The world is now a global village. So every disease of high importance should be important to everybody and every country. We should all work together to prevent it.
All right, thank you so much. We'll take a break now and then we'll come back to question and answer session. Vivid View.
Say and do it.
My name is Bukola. I would like to confirm from the doctor about prevention when the vector, which is the rat, when the rat eats part of our food, especially line-lawned food. Is it advisable for us when we're cooking and we have the mindset that, okay, since we've cooked this food on a higher heat, then the virus is not in the food? Or probably when we salt the food, probably mostly like dry fish, when we have dry fish at home and the vector eats part of the dry fish and we say, okay, I will salt it, then the virus will die. Is it something that is advisable for us to do? Or probably when we eat the food at which the rat has eaten, then we take hot water or salt water, then we feel like, okay, yes, there's no virus again. Thank you.
I'm Ovian Joy. What are the proof to show that Lassa fever is real?
Welcome back. The audience have asked their questions. I'll direct them to our guests. What are the answers, please?
Okay, I like your questions. They're very good questions. The first question was about when the rats eat your food and what to do. Should you still eat it? You boil it? I know that it's really difficult to tell people.
Should you cut off that portion and
yeah, I know it's really difficult to tell people to just straight away. But let's think about it. Our gari, rice, they are all sold in bags, right?
Yes.
In the normal woven bags. Even if the rat ate this part of your bag of rice and you scoop out that part, do you know if the rat has peed on the bag and the pee has seeped into your bag of rice or your bag of gari? Which is why, you know, earlier I said it's better to store these things in plastic containers, bigger containers, or in aluminium containers, really, that can be properly covered. You understand? That's the only way to avoid, because you really, especially for things like gari that you really cannot even boil. If you want to soak gari with groundnut now,
I use plastic bucket that has a cover.
Yeah,
okay. You
can use anything that has a cover, but with something like gari that you can't cook before you drink it, you're just putting normal water. You're literally just taking it in that form, and viruses can live a really long time outside of the host. So it's not, you're not safe eating that. For things that you can cook, for example, you could, I mean, if you want to gamble or if you're going to cook it for a protracted period, but it's really just safer to discard that thing and ensure that your area is safe. That's the advice I can give you. Discard what is eaten by a rodent. Don't try to eat it, or just break away that small part. And I know that the state of the country
could lead to more poverty. Someone that had just little loaf of bread, and the rat came from nowhere and eat part of it, and that's the only meal he had that day. He said,
you have to weigh whether you want to live or die based on hunger. Temporary hunger. Maybe it's just one of your meals the rat ate.
So the best way to protect that your
Lassa
bread,
fever.
Put your bread in the way that's well covered.
Yes.
So that it does not have
where vectors can get at it. Yeah. The next question is about proof that Lassa fever is real. Well, I don't see the wind, but I know it's there. I feel it. There are now tests actually that you can test a person with to know if this person has Lassa fever. There's a reverse transcriptase PCR test. There's a Lassa, test. There's there's even for postmortem analysis, like when somebody is dead and you're not even sure what it was and you suspect Lassa, you can actually even do a test. There's a histology test that can be done from the autopsy to show that, oh, this person actually did truly have this illness. And then you can do contact tracing to identify the people that person who's just recently passed can actually have been in contact with and has probably also infected, in the community. So that's one of the ways that you can actually prove to people in the environment that Lassa fever is real. Secondly, I would like to note that with a death rate of about 5,000 per annum in the areas where these things are endemic, I'm sure that most people know somebody who knows somebody that this has happened to. Yeah. And so you wouldn't even need to prove it too far. The biggest fight would be in convincing them to give up their local delicacy. That's what I think, and I think that's where efforts should actually be pushed towards.
Yeah, in that conviction is actually the key, because it's their local delicacy over the years, and they feel that nothing's going to happen. It's not happening. So those may not really believe that if anybody dies, they know that they won't even ascribe it to that it's Lassa fever.
Yeah,
they will just think malaria. They will just say malaria or fever, just mere fever like that. Yeah. But without knowing that it's a very complicated that thing that they are eating.
I would like to just tell them that it's culture. Culture started based on necessity. Most of the things that we say is cultural. This is how we do it. Started because that's how we had to do it back then. I don't believe that it was quite easy to get access to meat. I don't believe that back in the days, in like 300 years ago, it was so easy to get access to beef, to goat meat. I don't think so. I think it was just easier to kill whatever you could find and cook that. And those rats were very, it's called the common African rat for a reason. Everywhere was common. I would advise that those communities should actually seek alternative meat sources, because there are now alternative meat sources. You don't have to eat that particular meat. You can eat a different type of meat that will not attempt to infect you with something.
Because some of them also think that if they dry it very well, everything is gone, you know. That's also
Let me ask, what's the process of the drying? Is it not to hit it on something and then hang it somewhere and spread it outside?
Again.
Where is cousin that you killed? That
We
is
also
not
go
killed?
and
We
visit
also
it.
go and visit it and pee on it and take a bite.
So you see, what we need to do, the lesson here is for those community where they take this rat as their local meal, please take a second look again. For your safety and for the safety of others, especially as it's contagious. That means somebody else can, can take it up.
Yeah.
So please help us to help yourself too and help others that could come in contact with those of you that eat this rat, please. Having said this, please, your final words.
I would just like to say Lassa fever is endemic in Nigeria, especially in the places that have poorer infrastructure and low socioeconomic status and all of that. I would like to say that they should, just be more careful with how they store their foods. People should be more careful with where they keep their meals. Try to put your food in a way that will protect you and your loved ones when you eat it and not actually give you infections. And to also realize that beyond Lassa, there are several other viruses that are coexisting with us in this world that are not very safe for us as human beings, from HIV to hepatitis to COVID, Ebola,
This monkeypox and all that.
Yes, monkeypox, Zika virus. There's so many viruses that are actually causing trouble for human beings. So stay safe, protect yourself and your loved ones, put up your mask at every place where you have many people or when you're out there. Try to do social distancing. And I know that we are all tired of all these things, but they are keeping us alive. Those rules are there for a reason. So please adhere. Everything is not malaria, typhoid. If you have any problems, you should really speak to a professional. So get to the hospital.
And stop self-medication.
And don't self-medicate.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank
I
you.
add by saying stop self-medication. I know sometimes you say I don't have the money, and so go over the chemist and buy, go back to the counter and buy. I suspect malaria. Maybe he didn't say I had it before. I took so and so medicine and it's gone. It might be the same thing. It may not be the same. And that it may not be. It may be something else. So struggle not to treat yourself. Go for a test so you know exactly what you are suffering from, and then the solution will be provided.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Having said this, I want to thank you again, our guests, and of course the audience here and viewers out there for joining us in this program, and our production crew, including the executive producer, and of course our sponsors. I want to thank you for keeping this program on air. I hereby invite artist Fizzy to sign off this program. Join us next week for another edition, same time, same station. Bye. Vivid View.
Say and do it.
Balaji they hustle, they try to bring something for people, my brother. No easy for Balaji, Balaji na pastor, Balaji na tailor, Balaji na international airport driver. Balaji they do many things, Balaji na love, I go stand it by anytime, anywhere. Balaji na love, I go stand it by anytime, anywhere. This guy, my dad, been there for your mind. Now I know I see me happy, I see me jolly. This guy, my dad, been there for your mind. Now I know I see me happy, I see me jolly. You chop my money, call me a brother. Go stand with you anytime, anywhere. Balaji done they lose focus, Which kind my dad in there for your mind? Now I know I see me happy, now I see me jolly. Balaji they hustle, they try to bring something for them, my brother. No easy for Balaji, Balaji na pastor, Balaji na tailor, Balaji na international airport driver. Balaji they do many things, Balaji na love, I go stand it by anytime, anywhere. Melody and love, I go stand it by anytime, anywhere that yeah. Melody make you stay focused, yeah. Make you no go lose God, oh. Make you no go lose God, oh. Yeah, Melody. Which time I time been there for your mind. Now I know I see me happy, you know I see me jolly. Which time I time been there for your mind. Now I know I see me happy, you know I see me jolly. Which time I time been there for your mind. Now I know I see me happy, you know I see me jolly. Which time I time been there for your mind. Now I know I see me happy, you know I see me jolly.